Hey guys, EBP Man here. Now in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new e-bike that we've been reviewing over the last several weeks. Amazing driving experience and also great range. We're talking about the Ride 1Up 700 series. This is an e-bike that is packed with features, and especially during these times, if you're looking for an alternative way to get from here to there and you want something electric, this is going to be a bike to check out. Let's get right to it. Now, the 700 series is a very versatile bike. It's going to be able to support riders anywhere from 5'5" all the way up to 6'4", with a max weight of 275 pounds. Now, it's powered by a 750-watt brushless motor, and it's going to give you top speeds of 28 miles per hour. Now, the bike itself, on full electric, as if it were, let's say, a scooter, for example, is going to top out at 20 miles per hour. But as you contribute pedaling, it will pump up to 28. So you can hit that 28 as you're just pedaling. And I have to say that the 28 doesn't require a lot of effort. It's very light effort to hit that 28 top speed. Now, you do have a nice range, anywhere from 30 to 50 miles, and you have a very, very easy to read, colorful, I'd say premium display. It's basically going to give you time, speed, battery, and it's going to give you what your assist level is. Now, this bike, as we mentioned, is cadence sensing. So as you start pedaling, one of the things I have to say is that this is probably the smoothest transition from human to electric that I've experienced in an e-bike. There is no sudden jolt. There is a very gradual experience. You've seen me describe in the past e-bikes as being almost like having superpowers, like leaping forward, almost like having like Iron Man capabilities where it just propels you because of so much power. Well, this takes a total different approach that at first I thought, is this normal? And yeah, it is. And that is that the cadence sensing capability, as it kicks in the power, it is very natural. Like all of a sudden you start going faster and your legs don't start doing one of these things and you're hitting this top speed of 28 miles an hour. It's something that I really enjoyed. And I have to say that if you're someone that gets intimidated by that power, and like Nilda, for example, this is the type of bike that she felt very comfortable riding, and I have to say that I felt that way too. Now, in addition to that pedal assist type feature, it does have a thumb throttle that is going to give you the ability to, speed things up, right? Now, the one thing that's unique about this is that the thumb throttle is actually on the left side. Now, for me, at first, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this or not. It's kind of odd because I'm a righty and I expect everything on the right side. But after using it for a while, it kind of makes a lot of sense. I have my brake, I have my gear shifting on one side, and then I have my throttle on the other. It became very natural to me, so I give it a thumbs up when it comes to the placement. And you know what? Great for them for doing something different. Now, this bike is made out of complete premium materials. Everything feels very premium on this bike, from the saddle all the way down to the puncture-resistant tires that basically are, I would put them in a higher grade of tire than any one that I've experienced before. It basically has almost like a coat of, I would say, almost like the green gel in between the tire and the tube that's really going to give you I would say a worry-free experience, right? So you don't really have to worry about carrying a toolkit, air, let's say, pump with you, any kind of repair equipment because of how durable these tires are and how puncture resistant they are. You're looking at 26-inch, but 2x4, right, is the inch diameter or the width of the tire. So they're not the uber fat tires that we've seen, like the 4 inches. It's a 2.4. Now, I'll say that the hydraulic fork, combined also, check this out, with hydraulic brakes, and I'm telling you, hydraulic brakes matter. Never experienced it until we started testing this bike. Hydraulic is very different. It's very smooth, and I have to say I'm a super fan now of these. This is going to be like my go-to must-have feature. If you combine the tires, hydraulic front shocks, and then you have the hydraulic brakes, you have a very, very comfortable ride throughout this entire experience. And the nice thing is that all these things are adjustable. So the front shock, you can adjust it so that you have a real nice ride. The tires give it a very smooth, no noise, super duper quiet experience, only bike-like noises when you're riding this bike. Now, this bike has an IP rating of IP65, and it's an 8-speed bike. And the total weight that you're going to be looking at is around 62 pounds. So 8 speed, 62 pounds, IP65 means that you're going to be able to ride this as you would ride any other bike and not have to worry about any rain. So All in all, I have to say, this is one of my favorite e-bikes because the fact that how well it cruises, the worry-free nature of the tires, the premium nature of this bike, everything just feels really premium. It's like they really thought about all the componentry. And as I was looking at this bike, and when we go close up, you'll see this, it is probably one of the best bikes that I've seen on the market when it comes to cable management. And, you know, many people won't really think that much about it, but they actually gave it a lot of thought. I love how clean this bike is. All the wires are tucked away. They're hidden inside of the frame. It's just a very well thought out bike. Outside of that, has the fenders that you would expect are going to be metal fenders. It's going to have also front headlight, so you're going to be able to see and also be seen. It's just a really positive experience when it comes to the complete package. All right, so the very first thing we're going to focus on are the tires, because the tires on this bike, on the 700 series, are absolutely spectacular. You're talking about some Schwalbe Supermotos 27.5 by 2.4. Now, these are not the extreme fat tires, but one thing that these tires have that really set them apart is the fact that they have this puncture-resistant technology that has, kind of like in this area right here, a layer that is almost like a green layer that in the event that you have any kind of tear or puncture, it's going to be really resistant to that, almost self-healing. So love the fact that you're going to be able to take this bike out, you're going to be able to go on long rides, and you're not going to have to worry about carrying, you know, one of those kits or worry about losing air or having a flat, especially if you're going through terrain that you may not be familiar with. Now on the back of the bike, you do have a very supportive rack in the back that's going to give you the ability to carry any kind of items and strap them down. Now, the cool thing about this is that there's also some optional accessories that I'm going to share with you that allow you to have or turn the bike into almost like a day bike. I use the term day bike when you're just going to go out for the day. You can have snacks, water, any kind of goodies in the bag. Or if you're using this for grocery shopping, you can tie this down. Or what you could do is use that the saddle bag that I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes that to carry supplies in it. The nice thing about it is that you can strap things down using the strap, or you can connect them with the saddle bag that you'll see in a second. Now, you do have some fenders, both front and back fenders, that are pretty long. They go all the way up to the front really low, which means you're not going to get a lot of splash in the pedal area, and then also in the back, which means you're not going to get anything in the back. They are metal, and then you also have this back marker so that if someone is behind you at night especially, it's going to be able to, they're going to be able to see you, they're going to be able to see when your lights are on, all that jazz that's important, especially when you're riding in an area that you just want to be seen. Now, as we look at the saddle itself, the saddle does have a soft touch to it, and it has a lot of cushion in it, right? I'd say it's between firm and soft. You can see how I can press down on it, and it does have some give to it. It doesn't have independent suspension in this area, but it's very comfortable to ride, and I didn't have any problems while riding the bike. You also can adjust the saddle really easily without any tools, and this is really important to me as well, so that if I want to make any adjustments when I'm out, all I have to do is push this out, adjust it up or down, and adjust it again. This also comes in really handy when Nilda is going to be riding the bike or we're switching off. I can just pop this out, adjust it for her height, put it back in, and because this is a step-through bike, it makes it really easy for her to get on and off. Now, one thing I want to highlight about the 700 series is that this, in my opinion, has the best, and I have to say it again, the best cable management when it comes to any electric bike that we reviewed on the channel. And we have had dozens, and we reviewed several of them as well. Look how clean the cable management is here. So all your cables come in. This is, again, your onboard display, your braking system. It comes in, gets wrapped in really nicely, and more importantly, really tight, right? Goes in, and what I love about it is watch where it goes. It gets tucked in here. So it gets tucked in, it gets stored in this area here, goes all the way through, and then obviously it comes out on the back. Absolutely love the cable management, right? And I know that I'm probably spending more time than I should on cable management, but I have ridden bikes that the cables are all over the place. They're really hard to stow. It just becomes something that's really difficult. And it just makes the aesthetics of the bike so much better. Now, on the front of the bike, you have a great LED light that's going to illuminate the area that you're going through, and it does have a front marker. Now, the cool thing about this LED is that as you're riding the bike, not only will you see where you're going, but you're also going to be seen. It is very bright. You have on your front fork here, you have a suspension system that is easy to change. All you have to do is move it just like this, and it gives you that nice little click. that's giving you the feedback that's going to adjust the ride. This is an uber quiet bike. It's one of the most quietest bikes that we have ridden. The only thing that you hear with this bike is going to be bike-like noises. So if you are pedaling backwards, you get that nice little click, 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 click. When you're moving forward, it is bike-like. If you're not pedaling whatsoever, it is super quiet, especially when it goes into electric mode. So just a fantastic ride experience when it comes to overall support, ride, and comfort, as well as the overall aesthetics of this bike are very well thought out. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is the braking system. So the great thing about this is you can see how clean the actual mounting and the braking system and how everything is just nicely organized. This is a hydraulic braking system, which really makes a difference. If you've just been using cable braking systems, you have not experienced what it's like to stop using one of these. At first, it's a little to get used to, but you're talking about very responsive braking. You're talking about almost stopping on the dime. It's not going to be to the point where it'll flip you off the bike, but you do see a big difference when you work with hydraulic brakes. So hydraulic braking system, again, everything is nicely coordinated, again, with the cable management that you have, and again, a very responsive system. All right, now next let's talk about the actual gear system. So you have an 8-gear Shimano system. Clean, probably one of the cleanest that I've seen. I love the actual treatment when it comes to the colors that they've chosen here, having this type of offsetting with the actual gray that you have here, and also offsetting with the black. Very responsive. Didn't have to do anything to this, right? So we didn't have to work with any kind of adjustments. We just put it together and everything worked fine right out of the box. Now, the charging port for the bike is found on this side right here, and it is protected by this rubber stopper. So it gives you the ability to just plug in really easily, and then you don't have to worry about being caught in the rain, especially since everything is really nicely plugged. And then this is also a great example of the cable management. So you can see how it comes in, it gets tucked away, and it's just hidden completely, giving this bike a really, really nice aesthetic. Now, this display is one of the easiest displays I've found to read. What I really like about it is that not only is it bright, but it's also colored. So you can see here the battery level really easily, your miles, your power, your miles per hour, your max mile per hour. And the one thing about this bike that I haven't mentioned yet is now the 700 series also has a very easy to read display. This display is bright, it is multicolored, and it's super informative. It's going to give you your last trip distance. It's going to give you information about your max speed, again, the current speed. And while this bike does have a rating of a 28.5, this bike, it's 28.5 assisted. So this is not 28.5 on its own, but if you're pedaling, and it's not like you're hitting the pedal hard, it does require you to participate, especially with the passive system that it has, the pedal assist system, to hit that 28.5. But I will say, like I said during the intro video, this is one of the most smoothest, easiest. It doesn't have a catapulting effect. It doesn't leap forward when you're actually using any one of the power levels. So as you go from power level 0, 1, and you continue to go through each one of these, you really find yourself just enjoying the ride and not feeling that thrust. So this makes it a very, I would say, friendly bike for anyone that's looking to really take advantage of the electric power that comes from the type of battery pack and motor that this bike has. And it's really a non-intimidating bike, but it's also powerful and it has long range. Now to turn on the lights, all you have to do is press and hold this button here. You'll see it dim slightly and you'll see the little light come up, and then the tire light will turn on. You can see that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and press it. All you have to do is watch that tire and you can see how it turned off as well. So everything is easy to control. Now everything on the handlebar is easy to access, and I just wanted to show you, just where my hands are. The one thing that is a little different, and I have to admit it, that I saw this myself, is the fact that the thumb for the throttle is on your left side. At first, I thought it was a little weird, but as I've been riding it, I've actually gotten used to it. I'm actually enjoying it, because typically on this side is where I'm changing my gears, right? So this is where you're doing your shifting, right? You do your shifting on both sides. So you have this button right here that you can shift, and this button over here where you work with your shifting. And having it separate, I think, is actually a great idea, because you don't have that confusion. You don't have to worry about all of a sudden twisting the throttle by mistake. So this is where all your manual gears are, and then this is where your electric power gets brought in. You'll also notice that you have on the end of your steering, you do have these palm rests, right? And these palm rests are going to help with fatigue, especially palm fatigue. So as you're riding, you don't have to hold on really hard, but you do get some relief with this palm rest area here. It's well stitched, it doesn't dig into your hands, and then also the braking that you have on each side is just, it's just there and ready for use. Like, again, the hydraulic system, and you can adjust the actual steering column. You do need the Allen tools for this, so it's not something that you can do on its own, but it is easy to adjust, and you can also adjust this area here at tilt, as well as this area. So you can go up, you can go back and forward, and then you can move the steering forward or back if you'd like to. This is kind of my preferred position and how I prefer to ride the bike. Now, for those of you curious about the process to remove the battery, it's pretty straightforward. All you do is you unlock it, you twist the button, and then your battery comes out. It's that simple. You take it out, and then you can stow it inside of the house. In Chicago, since we're dealing with winter, I typically take the batteries off my bike, especially if I have them in cold storage. If you have a heated garage, then there's no need to do this. If you are, let's say, in a public area where you just want to take the battery off and take it with you into the office, this is a great way to just stow it and secure the bike even further. This is probably one of my favorite accessories that I received with a bike to review. And this is what I would consider my day bag, especially when you're going on a ride. This has been, while this will work on, I think, any bike, I like the design. I like how it works as far as the utility of it when it comes to this bike. So let me just show you. If I want to remove this, right, and I remove it, this is what the bag would look like, right? It's almost like if you think about those old westerns where you had the cowboys and they had those little saddlebags that they put over the horse. This is what it looks like. We'll go take a look at all the compartments, but I want to show you something in the inside. Let's flip this over right here. Now you see these clips right here, and you see this. Well, what you could do is you can connect it right here, right? And that locks it into place, right? So this side right here kind of snaps in. You slide it in, and then it's going to stay in place. Now, it is pretty wide. So if you look at how wide that is, you would literally have on both sides this wideness. So think about, you can put your laptop in here. If you're using this for work, you can put your lunch in here. You have access pockets here, something easy where you can put maybe a phone, a battery bank charger, whatever you would like. Just really, really nice bag, and it just fits so well the bike. And if we were to put it on the side here, again, it just looks so nice. So let me show you how you can connect it, and then also we'll take a peek inside the bag. Now you have a couple tie down options for the bag, right? You can use these hooks that are going to hook right here, and then you can also tie them down. I personally just use the hooks when I use the bag, so I'm just going to flip it over. I'm just going to do one side so you can see how this works. And I put the bag right here, and then I'm just going to snap it into place. And the reason for this, right, the reason why you would want to do this is so that if you are riding hard, you don't want your stuff that you have in here to kind of fly off. So all I'm going to do is on the side here, just make sure that it's going into that side lock, and I'm putting it right here. Let's see if you can see that. So I'm connecting it right here. So this is going to go right here. All right, I had to pause there for a second because I didn't want you to see my big head in the way, but now it's locked in place, and you notice that it's not moving. And now let's talk about some of the things that you can do with the bag. So we talked about the fact that you have the zipper compartment here. When you open it up, you notice that you do have a drawstring here that you can expand. And this is going to open this up. And then you have a really deep compartment. Look how big this thing is. This is absolutely awesome. I could even put our dog Miko in here. Would you want to get in there, Miko? He's right now right there. I don't know if he came on camera or not. But a lot of space in here. And what I also like is that there's walls here, right? So this isn't soft. So it has a wall on the inside and a wall on the outside that's going to give you some protection. And then what you do is you can tie this up like this just to make sure that it's nice and protected. And then you have this other compartment here that you can slide something into. Depending on how wide it gets, you have also some adjustable straps on the bottom. You just lock things into place, just like that. Tie it over so you don't have to worry about any dust or rain or just debris getting in it, and you're set to go. I have to say that if you're going to bike and you're going to go any distance with something like this, and you can go far, you have to get one of these. So let's first talk about the ride experience. The tires themselves are anti-puncture tires or puncture-resistant tires that have a coating that in the event that you do get a puncture or any kind of damage, it's going to reduce the likelihood of you getting it flat, which is great. Now, the suspension itself, it does have a suspension system in the front fork that is hydraulic. And the hydraulic, I can tell you right now from the ride, the tires and the hydraulic system, really, really nice experience. You can adjust this to make it firmer or softer, which is nice as well. And then the braking system is also hydraulic. So if I press the brakes, it stops. You can see that. And it's not one of those stops, at least as you get used to it, where it's going to flip you over the bike. It's actually a really, really nice gradual stop. But if you need it to stop and you hit that brake, guess what? It's going to stop too. So this is going to be a great bike for that. Now right now I'm at level 0, so I'm 100% human powered. So I'm going to increase it one level to make it a little bit easier so I'm not as winded as I'm doing this review. And now at level 1, the bike is actually working with me. Now this is one of the best passive pedaling systems that I've experienced in any bike. I said that in the actual description. You don't really feel that thrust of power all of a sudden when you start riding the bike. It actually is gradual. It contributes to your ride. So if you're the type of person that has been intimidated by, let's say, the power that comes from a bike because it just leaps forward, this is not going to be that bike. Meaning that this is a great bike for those people who like that subtleness, very, I would say, responsive yet softer approach to powering your experience when you ride the bike. And I switch it to level 2. I'm gonna go on the grass for a little bit right here. And this is something that I've had other bikes that just catapult you forward. This one doesn't catapult you forward. So you kind of contribute to the power. So for example, right now it's saying that we're going around 10, 11 miles an hour, and I'm not exerting the same amount of effort. I'm right now on 8 on my gears. So this is because I like to work a little bit on it, and it's contributing to my speed. Like right now, I'm going 15 miles an hour, and I'm really not putting in a lot of effort. So, passing system, the actual system, the pedal assist system is great on this because, again, it doesn't leap you forward. It is soft, very thoughtful in how it's been implemented. Now, the bike type features that we'll talk about that contribute to that pedal assist mode. You have an 8-gear Shimano system, easy to turn on and off or go up a gear. So if I want to go down, I have on this side, I have the ability to go down. Right there I went down 1 gear, and I can feel the difference by pushing the button up. I'm able, this button over here in the front, I'm able to increase it. So right now I'm back to 8 again. It does it effortlessly, so that's something that I really like as well. Now the other thing I'll mention is with this bike is that the actual electric is on this side. It's on your left side, and that's something that took me a little getting used to because I like the throttle on this side, and it's something that I'm actually become, very appreciative of it. I like it on this side more so than I have on the right side because I got a lot of stuff going on this side. So I have the pedal, the actual gear system right here that I can switch, the Shimano system, I can switch to all the different gears. And I would always, at times, depending on how it's implemented, I would sometimes give the throttle a hit unwillingly, right? And so having it on this side, separate from the actual gear changer, I think is pretty cool and very smart on their behalf. Now, in addition to that, we talk about palm rests. On each side, you got some great palm rests. The palm rests are going to give you the ability to really, especially because of the range that you can get on this bike, have fatigue-free riding. So I can rest my palm here on the side and not really feel, again, that weight of just riding the bike, and I don't have to hold on really hard either. So that's going to give me a great experience there as well. Right, so we talked about the fork, we talked about the brake system being responsive, hydraulic, we've talked about the gear system, 8-gear Shimano system, or 8-speed. We talked about also the fact that you have that palm rest. Well, and now let's go ahead and talk about the actual display. Super easy to read. Right now, very legible. I can see that I'm at around 11, and the amount of watts that the bike is putting out. And it's just, even with the sunlight that you see here, it's very easy to read, and it's also very easy to access. So if you look at where my hands are placed on these sides, everything is within hand's reach, which is good for two things. One, for safety, and the other thing is just for access. So really like that. Now this is an easy on, easy off bike, meaning that you have that center area where you don't have to raise your leg to get off. And I'll tell you, before they used to distinguish these between, you know, a male bike and a female bike based on, you know, how that center bar was. I enjoy having these, being able to get off really easily and getting on really easily. So it doesn't matter your gender. I would suggest you check out what works for you. So what we're going to be doing in a second is we're going to go into full electric, just so that we can see the speed. Now this bike, I'll tell you right off the bat, is set at 20 miles top speed electric. If you contribute to it, like I'm doing right now, pedaling, you're going to be able to get 28 miles, right? And I've hit 27, 28, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it. Right now I'm past the pedal assist mode 2. I'm going to switch it to pedal assist mode 3. And what you're starting to see now is that our speed is around 18.5, 18.5, 18.9. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a long stretch here. And right now I'm working it, right? So you can see me working it. But you can also then all of a sudden hear the electric kick in, and it's working with me. So what we're going to do is see how fast we can go. I'm on the 8th gear on my Shimano system. Right now hitting 20 miles an hour, 21, 22. I'm going to put a little bit more oomph into it. 22.9. I'm going to switch to gear 4 or past 4. And now I'm seeing 24.6. Go to 5. I can feel a little speed bump right there. Now we're at 26, 27, 28.2, 28.4. I think I can hit 29. Oh, but that was working it hard. Oh my God. So that's what you get if you pedal. Now I'm gonna take a break. That was hard. So guys, that wraps up our review of the 700 series from Ride One Up. Again, this is a bike that you should really consider if you're looking for an e-bike, and you're looking for something that has a very smooth cruising from human power to electric power, long range. This is going to be the bike to check out. See you in the next video.